Hello students, welcome back. Today in this third video, we will continue with the chapter Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. Ready with pencil and book in your hand? Good. Open page number 19 of your book First Flight. We will start from first paragraph on this page. So it is a few moments later. We all lifted our eyes in awe. Here awe means amazed or surprised as a spectacular array. Spectacular means beautiful and an eye-catching. Array means an impressive display of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers. Here troop means soldiers or armed forces. Rode in perfect formation over the Union buildings. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision. Precision here means accuracy and military force, but a demonstration of the military's loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. Only moments before the highest generals of the South African Defence Force and police, their chests bedecked. Bedecked means decorate with ribbons and medals from days gone by, saluted me and pledged for their loyalty. It was not unmindful. Unmindful means not aware of the fact that not so many years before they would not have saluted but arrested me. Finally, a chevron of Empfal jets let a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue, and gold of the new South African flag. So here chevron means a pattern in the shape of a V, and trail means series, or we can say a chain. So what is told here in this paragraph, just after the newly elected president addressed to the audience, an impressive arrangement of fighter jets, helicopter and soldier transporters raised everyone's heads up in the sky. It symbolized perfection as well as military's respect and obedience towards the free country. The high commanders who have won medals for their bravery also saluted and promised their loyalty. Mandela mentions that he was well aware that these commanders who were now saluting him would have arrested him under the previous rule as during the oppressive white supremacy. He was considered to be a criminal. The air show finally ended by making of the South African flag in the sky from smoke beneath the jets. The day was symbolized for me. Here symbolized means be a symbol of by the playing of our two national anthems and the vision of white singing Nkosi Sikel Africa and black singing Die Stem, the old anthem of the Republic. Although that day neither group knew the lyrics of the anthem. So lyrics means the words of a song. They once despised, they would soon know the words by heart. Despised here means hated, had a very low opinion of something. So here the author remembers the day as the playing of two national anthems of the country. One of the whites and the other that of the blacks. On that day, no one knew the wordings of the anthem of the blacks, but Mandela was confident that everyone would soon learn this anthem that they once hated. So come over to next paragraph now. On the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed. Overwhelmed means have a strong emotional effect with a sense of history. In the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the bitter Anglo-Boer War and before my own birth, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination. So here erected means build, and racial domination is when people of one race have power over the another race against the dark-skinned peoples of their own land. The structure they created formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhumane means to be very cruel or brutal. Inhumane societies the world has ever known. Now, in the last decade of the 20th century and my own 8th decade as a man, that system had been overturned forever and replaced by one that recognized the rights and freedoms of all the peoples regardless of the color of their skin. So overturned here means reverse. So in this paragraph, on the day of inaugural ceremony, the author was remembering the days of past when this whole system of apartheid emerged. It started. It resulted in inequality and inferior treatment of dark-skinned people. They were deprived of their basic fundamental rights. They were not given their basic rights also. As a result, one of the world's most brutal and inhumane society was born. This began even before he was born. Mandela was born. Even before that, this system created an atmosphere of extreme cruelty and injustice for a particular part of the community. Now, when he is in his 8th decade as a man, he, along with countless others, have changed this entire system that treats humans as humans irrespective of their color, caste, gender, or age. That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. So, here unimaginable means difficult or impossible to imagine. I felt that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots that had gone before me. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them and that they were not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. So here wrought means done or achieved. This equal and free country was a result of sacrifices of countless other men and women who have fought all their lives for this day. The author wishes if he could thank them all, but unfortunately they didn't live to see the result of their courage. Nelson Mandela gathered his courage and power from all these people and thus wishes to make them proud. So come over to next paragraph now. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. All of us will spend many years if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. So, profound here means deep and strong. They were deeply and strongly hurt. And but the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sissulus, the Chief Luthlis, the Yusuf Dadus, the Bram Fishers, and the Robert Sobosquis of our time, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity that their like may never be known again. Perhaps it requires such depths of oppression to create such heights of character. My country is rich in the minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. So, what we have understood from this paragraph is oppression policy scarred many people, means it hurt many people, and it will take a long time for them to move on. The author mentions that this hard time had its negative impacts, but it also exposed a lot of strong and courageous men who stood up and raised their voice. Thus, it required that level of unjust treatment to produce such great heroes. South Africa, he says, is rich in minerals and gems, but its greatest strength lies in its people. It is from these comrades, comrades means a colleague or a fellow member of an organization, in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience. Resilience means the ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its strength that defies the imagination. Defies means refuse to obey. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph. Triumph means victory, great victory or achievement. Triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Right, students? So here Nelson Mandela gained his strength to stand against the wrong from all the great nationalists he mentioned above, who have even risked their lives for freedom and tolerated ill treatment but never stopped fighting. He learned that courage did not mean the absence of fear, but the ability to overcome fear. The man who overcomes his fear is called brave. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Even in the grimmiest times in prison, grimmiest means very serious time, when my comrades are the colleagues, and I were pushed to our limits. Pushed to our limits means pushed to last point in our ability to bear pain. They were in so much pain. They were struggling there to live their life. I would see a glimmer of humanity. Glimmer means shine faintly with wavering light. Means some hope he have seen in one person there, perhaps just for a second, but it was enough to reassure me and keep me going. Reassure means say or do something to remove the doubts. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. So, we can say that one is taught by its society to hate humans because of their skin, color, age, gender, and religion. No one is inborn with hatred. The author's idea is that if person can be taught hatred, they can also be taught love and brotherhood. In their most testing times in prison, when they were being treated brutally, Mandela would see a pinch of humanity and kindness in one of the guards, and that was enough to keep him going. He believes that goodness in human beings can be suppressed but never eliminated. So now we have oral comprehension check questions. So our first question is, what do the military generals do? How has their attitude changed and why? So answer to this question is, the military generals saluted Nelson Mandela and promised their support to the newly formed democratic government of South Africa. Their attitude has changed because earlier they were under the rule of white supremacy. During that rule, they would have arrested Mandela as he was considered to be a criminal. Now, with the abolition of apartheid and the formation of a democratic government, their attitude has also changed. So, our next question is, why were two national anthems sung? The two national anthems, one of the blacks and other of the whites, were sung, symbolizing equality and respect for the entire community, irrespective of their color. So come over to next question. It is, how does Mandela describe the systems of government in his country in the first decade and in the final decade of the 20th century? So in the first decade of the 20th century, white supremacy created a system of racial domination and made life a living hell for the dark-skinned people. Mandela referred it as one of the harshest, inhumane societies of the world. And on the other hand, in the final decade of the 20th century, the system of apartheid has been changed into one that recognizes all humans as equal regardless of their color, race, or gender. Our next fourth question is, what does courage mean to Mandela? To Mandela, courage does not mean the absence of fear, but the victory over it, victory over the fear. A man who is courageous is the one who has overcome his fear to fight all the odds. And our last question is, which does he think is natural, to love or to hate? You all know the answer to this very well. He believes that love comes more naturally to the humans as opposed to hate. No one is born with hatred in his heart for another. So students, I hope whatever we have done till now is clear to all of you. We will continue with the chapter in my next video lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.